Listen, we're going to talk to you today about the Mayan stela. You've seen this before. It's a child sucking his thumb, cut in half. And a great chief has got a sword balanced on his nose. Well, listen, this is a symbol of Solomon, okay? I want to tell you also about this detail of this. Notice the left hand and the right hand, and these engravings and markings and shadows that are lighter and darker. These all are telling you a detail of an aerial. What I want to do is show you in a comparison with another thing here. Here's a painting of George Washington. Do you notice the left hand and the right hand? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about this to show you that our forefathers knew what I'm telling you. We're going to show you geographically, like standing behind Washington, he has a throne chair, and then he's standing there, and then look down at his foot, okay? Let me see if I can zoom this in for you. Okay. There's these marks. See right there? That mark right there, and see that circle right there? They're giving you details, and this map reiterates, okay? So if we find the area they're talking about, and over here to the left, there's a mark. See, there's this thing right here, and this board, like a wall. Okay, so what we're going to do is show you how this works. Let me get off and find the picture. Okay. This is the place where both of the Mayan calendar and this Washington picture is telling us about. And you notice the sword, this is the top of the sword that the Mayans holding. There's a star there, okay? And we always find this kind of cursive 2 or whatever mark, but there's a star there, and there's another mark right over here, right on the right of the top star, as you see right here on the picture. Let's see if we can get this in. You got to stand in the right position. There's a star there. And then right over here, there's another mark, of course, but it has this line and mark and details. So that's the position and the part of the throne of King David. Okay. There it is, a better picture. And you can notice the skull right here. See? His nose, his eye, his other eye, his chin. Okay? That's Hebrew. And then you have this star, and then there's a mark right here. Say a circle. But it's on both of them. Okay? My camera is not the best deal in here. These photos, I think, are probably not the best at all either. But let me show you what I'm talking about. And here's a precept. Okay, so you'll understand what I'm saying. Now look, here's the mark I showed you in George Washington. And there's that circle, there's that mark right there, okay? This is the precept of ancient Jerusalem. And look behind it is a stone dragon head. So, and then there's the throne room. So, in the painting there's the chair, which is the throne, and then George is the dragon, the Pendragon, he says, I guess, because he's standing there, and then there's this mark right in front of his feet showing that he's standing there. Now, when you look to the left, I mean to the right, our left, but it'd be to his right, there's a wall, okay? Let me get that picture up so you can, and then we'll go back to, here it is. Here's the wall. Now, here's this stone hand. It looks like a thumb and a fingers, but I know it, and there's the wrist, but it's turned a different way, but it still has the same marks and details. And I shot this in the sun. I should have waited till the early morning where it showed off more of the engravings. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit and show you some of the marks. But anyhow, here's that thing that I'm going to point back out to the picture, okay? And here's that wall that is behind Washington's right hand. And you'll find a lot of paintings are giving you details about this. Okay? See that thing right there? Now, I don't want to go no more because you can tell it's been turned. There's details that tells you what this is and what's there. Now, in the picture, it shows you, and I found that, it's telling that, I guess Washington found these records. See them? There's books. They're hidden. And he's even pinned something, it looks like. But in this painting, it's telling you where in the details. We find these details on other paintings as well as the George Washington painting, which I've explained. If you notice here, it shows you the Mississippi River bend in the paintings. And then there's that triangle too. Remember George Washington had his foot on the triangle? I'm going to show you what that is. There's other wall paintings that's in the back of Mary Magdalene Church that were discovered that had details the same that show the Mississippi River and the Holy Red Triangle, which details, and they reiterate and they tell you what they're what I'm telling you they are. Okay, so when you go there, let me zoom in a little bit so I can show you a little of that. See, the triangle at the bottlenose of the Mississippi goes straight over to it, and that's where they're telling you this is and giving details of it. Okay, and all the little details, like in the Pompeii, as I've explained and you've seen, I'm sure, is showing the same thing. They always show this, the Mississippi coming down or whatever, the bottlenose, and over, and this mark here, and then they got a picture of David there, and it shows the country, and then how they show the other side. See, that's the right hand, so this would be the left hand. The new one's white. Solomon set up. As a matter of fact, it shows even the western wall on Brown Road and the details. It's just overwhelming how these maps and paintings are showing up in details. Let me show you this other thing here. Now, when David took the city of Ammon, all the children, everybody came there to Jerusalem, the first one, the Jesuit temple, not New Jerusalem that Solomon set up, but the other one, and they would leave markers like this guy here. Here's an old man, see his face and his beard and all. He's got his staff with a skull, and then there's this dragon. Remember we pointed out the dragon where George Washington was standing? See his nostrils right there? It's the dragon. They're talking about it. But here's the deal. There's a right hand, and then there's this face. See his nose, his eye? And they marked it to show you. Now this is, I already know this, so I'm going to show you. This is the skull area, and then you see the skull, and then straight across the river, there's that dragon. So he's laying out where the temple door is. Okay? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Well, went the wrong way. See here at Machu Picchu, it shows you the same thing at the right hand. It looks as if the man got up and left, and to the right hand, it's showing you details, okay? This is the little man's head and the 5 steps, which we've showed before. And let me see here. Okay? All right, now this is a blow-up, but you can see the 5 steps. And there's that little man's head right there, see? Okay? And let me go to the next one so I can show you something there. And here's that red triangle that was in that painting. And this is the other one behind the Mary Magdalene. See, and the George Washington's talking about the triangle and all the engravings of the city there. This is the deal right here. And if you look close, there's the skull right where they pointed at. See it? And then on the other picture, see it right here? The red star, the triangle I was telling you about, there's the skull. They're both telling you where the skull area is at the right hand. I guess that's where the Hebrews checked in or whatnot. But when you put all these details together, they're all geographically laying out the details. Okay? I mean, like here's an ancient map of Jerusalem. Do you notice how the top part of this aerial is always coming like this? Well, if you look in paintings that are telling you these maps, you'll see that. See, left of the river there? Let me zoom this in so you can understand. See, in this painting, they're telling you about Mary and the baby that Mary was pregnant with, but Jesus was on the cross, but then he went, see the river, the bend, the bottlenose, he went over to Jerusalem. See, there's that mountain again. Okay? Now, don't have time to go into all these paintings, but I want to show you some of them. So, even the next one here, see? This one is very interesting because Mary's telling you where she's at. See, there's the temple, so she's west of it across the river, and they're telling you about a burial, which we found this by following this map. And we can give you details of it. But in all these paintings, you'll see these in the Mona Lisa. Let's see right here. Leonardo and Rembrandt were trying to tell everybody, and they come in squares now. Like this picture right here would be laid out to tell you the left side of the river, right side of the river. Here's that part I was telling you about. Let's see if we can get this in. See? Just like I told you, the aerial, there it is. Now and then the springs on the left side. I've told you all that. It's on my work. Posted at Ancient Cartography on YouTube. Let me show you, if I can find it here. Here's an aerial, a USG aerial of the same map that I just showed you. Do you see the point? See the point right there? See? And then across the river right here. Now, when you look at this, take caution and pay attention. Here, let me show you. Look, here's a Templar coin that Dr. Barkai talked about. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Okay, of the temple. He said that's what you find from the air. Now see, there's a circle here with a face, and then slash, line, slash, and then there's that 2. Okay? Well, I had to get up a little higher in the aerial here, and I doubt we'll be able to see this, but when you go online to Ancient Cartography, you can see it. But here's the details right here of Jerusalem, and that right there's that cylinder, and then right here between these lines that 2. If you go on my watch the Ancient City of David, I think that's put in there. But anyhow, that's they're showing you an aerial. You can see you find them in paintings, man, and it tells you geographically left, right, right, left. Just like I just told you on these other ones. See, here's another painting. They're either telling you about the right hand, left hand, or the on the thigh. There's 3 sites, okay? The first site was in, let me get a map and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. We have time. Okay? Here's what all the paintings and everything's talking about. Here's where David swore in and started making his mark. And the first king of Israel was anointed there. But anyhow, then David stretched out and went there. Okay? And then Solomon came over here at Lookout Mountain on our map and set up the new one. That's what Pompey's talking about. And remember, if you look at all these details, and I'm telling you to straight up the way it is, you remember that David took the most far east of the country of Egypt. They didn't even want to mess with this because they'd come and pilfered it but didn't stay, didn't have guards, they didn't care. So David knew that he wouldn't be too much trouble for taking it. But anyhow, let me back out of here. We're talking about too much. The maps are given details of places of these 3 sites. You know what I mean? That's the details. Even in the Mayan, this is depicting a man cut his head off. That's David's story, cutting Goliath's head off. And these maps point right to this place I'm telling you where he did that. And it's noted for it. Solomon made sure of it. 1 Kings 8th chapter, I believe, he... See, here's an Afghanistan map. Same thing. See, the bottlenose, it's telling you from over there. I ought to explain some of this. I don't know if I got time because this camera only seems to want to do so much. But this is the Afghanistan map. As you see the rainbow, okay? Now imagine the globe, okay? And here's Afghanistan on this side. And here's Utah on this side. What this map does is leave there. Afghanistan come over the Bering Strait. And then, this is north and this is south when it leaves. But when it gets back on this side, this is south and this is north. So what it shows you is a crocodile in the valley here, which is a national monument. The valley is laid out like a crocodile. And over to the right, you see the circle, that's Upheaval Dome. And if you zoom in Upheaval Dome, which I have all this information, you'll see a face and details. Well, when you triangulate that, you come up to a big mound just like this, and it has the who date marks on it, and has a right hand on the right side, which I'll show you. I don't have it right here. I got it in my book. And it's pointing the right way, which tells you to go east. And when you get to the bottlenose of the Mississippi, come back to the right hand, which is Van Buren, Missouri. It lays out. There's no way you can mess up. And the details are overwhelming on this work. So you can take it with a grain of salt or not, but I can prove everything I'm telling you. I run through these because I'm confident, and what you're going to find on this channel, Ancient Cartography channel, is a lot of these this evidence from these three sites that I've been talking about. Like, for example, here's an artifact we picked up, and as you see, well, if you look at it this way, it's a skull, but when you turn it, it's a hand seal. There's a man right there, and there's an arm pointing to his right hand, telling you. Now, this is the way it's laid out. So when they said it, Jesus ascended up to the right hand, ascending up, he just sloped north to a geographical area, and that area is Van Buren, Missouri. Okay? I don't know what else to say. The details are here. There's a point, and a mark right there. This also shows Ruby Falls, ladies and gentlemen. Solomon set up a great deal. But when all came back to Jerusalem and helped build it up for King David, we show all the findings are here on the channel. So please help yourself and take your time to review this, because the work is overwhelming. Just like when we show you a Hebrew cuneiform, okay? Just like when we tell you about a Hebrew cuneiform. Okay, the experts have confirmed this. When you look at it, you see the details. Okay? You say, what details? Well, look, let me show you. Something that's world famous. Okay, look at the details here. This is the Perry-Rees map showing you the details. It tells you, lays out the Perry-Rees map and shows you up here the mark. See, I blew it up. So when you look at that mark, see the bend and this right here? Well, look, you look at the aerial, there's that bend and there's that right there. The same thing that's on the Hebrew uniform is right there found on the maps. People are not looking. They're not paying attention. I don't know if they can see or what. But look, here's that 5 steps. And that little man's head that you find at Machu Picchu. There's no way I could find this aerial if I didn't know how to read these maps, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to help a little bit because nobody's looking. Like, for example, here's an ancient engraving that all the experts have confirmed. There's King Solomon, and there's jack stands right there while they're setting Pivot Rock at New Jerusalem and Lookout Mountain. Here's where they're setting it. See that arm right there? There's marks and details on here, and there's also, they're engraving, the Phoenicians, a dragon. There's his lips, and he's moving it back. See, they're engraving the dragon right there. Here's what it looks like today. Right there. See the arm right here and the marks? I spent a week. Here's the dragon. See his nose, his eye, the marks? It has Phoenician writing all over it. So people, check out everything on this site. You're going to see a lot of more pictures like CSI does and see a lot of solid evidence. And that's all I can tell you. So look, you can see. I mean, this is Pivot Rock at Rock City, and it's laid out Phoenician like the Perry-Rees map. And on the Perry-Rees map, there's a skull, crown, and face. Well, on the skull position, that you overlay it over the aerial of Rock City, and that's the door. So it says a Hebrew lived there. And here's his throne room right there where he's sitting out looking. So, all right, well, I hope you enjoyed this.